All right, guys, we're going to start part 2 of our lesson today with some whole group practice. So at the top, we see the directions. We're going to reread part of the text. Then we're going to use the sentence template to craft our response to the question. And then we're going to highlight the 2 best evidence choices to support our response. Today's question is going to be very close to the prompt that you're going to write independently at the end of the lesson. So today's question is, during this scene on pages 76 through 79 of chapter 10, do the memories bring the giver more joy or pain? All right, I'm going to read that again before you write it in your own words. So, during the scene on pages 76 to 79 of chapter 10, do the memories bring the giver more joy or pain? Go ahead, in your own words, type what the question is that you're answering below. So do the memories. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to go ahead and type out your answer. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you all said. Basically, what you're answering is, do the memories bring the giver joy or cause him pain during this scene? And in order to answer that question, we're going to go ahead back to this scene so we can reread. You do not need to go in your text because I'm going to pull it up in this video. So we're just going to page 76 right in this video. All right, here we are on page 76. The flesh around them was darkened into shadowed circles. I can see that you are very old, Jonas responded with respect. The old were always given the highest respect. The man smiled. He touched the sagging flesh on his own face with amusement. I'm not actually as old as I look, he told Jonas. This job has aged me. I know I look as if I should be scheduled for release very soon, but actually, I have a good deal of time left. I was pleased, though, when you were selected. It took them a long time. The failure of the previous selection was 10 years ago, and my energy is starting to diminish. I need what strength I have remaining for your training. We have hard and painful work to do, you and I. Please sit down, he said, and gestured toward the nearby chair. Jonas lowered himself onto the soft cushioned seat. The man closed his eyes and continued speaking. When I became a 12, I was selected as you were. I was frightened, as I'm sure you are. He opened his eyes for a moment and peered at Jonas, who nodded. The eyes closed again. I came to this very room to begin my training. It was such a long time ago. The previous receiver seemed just as old as me. Just as old to me as I do to you. He was just as tired as I am today. He sat forward suddenly, opened his eyes, and said, You may ask questions. I have so little experience in describing this process. It is forbidden to talk of it. I know, sir. I have read the instructions, Jonas said. So I may neglect to make things clear as I should, the man chuckled. My job is important and has an enormous honor, but that does not mean that I'm perfect. And when I tried before to train a successor, I failed. Please ask any questions that will help you. In his mind, Jonas had questions, 1,000, A million questions. As many questions as there were books lining the walls. But he did not ask one, not yet. The man sighed, seeming to put his thoughts in order. Then he spoke again. Simply stated, he said, although it's not really simple at all, my job is to transmit to you all the memories I have within me, memories of the past. Sir, Jonas said tentatively, I'd be very interested to hear the story of your life and to listen to your memories. I apologize for interrupting, he added quickly. The man waved his hand impatiently. No apologies in this room, we haven't had time. Well, Jonas went on, uncomfortably aware that he might be interrupting again. I'm really interested. I don't mean that I'm not, but I don't exactly understand why it's so important. I could do some adult job in the community, and in my recreation time, I could come and listen to the stories from your childhood. I'd like that, actually, he added. I've done that already. In the House of the old like to tell about their childhoods, and it's always fun to listen. The man shook his head. No, he said. I'm not being clear. It's not my past, not my childhood that I must transmit to you. He leaned back, resting his head against the back of the upholstered chair. It's the memories of the whole world, he said with a sigh. Before you, before me, before the previous receiver, and generations before him. Jonas frowned. The whole world? He asked. I don't understand. Do you mean not just us? Not just the community? Do you mean elsewhere too? He tried in his mind to grasp the concept. I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand exactly. Maybe I'm not smart enough. I don't know what you mean when you say the whole world, or generations before him. I thought there was only us. I thought there was only now. There's so much more. There's all that goes beyond, all that is elsewhere, and all that goes back and back and back. I received all of those when I was selected, and here in this room all alone, I re-experienced them again and again. It is how wisdom comes, and how we shape our future. He rested for a moment, breathing deeply. I am so weighted with them, he said. Jonas felt a terrible concern for the man suddenly. It's as if the man paused, seeming to search his mind for the right words of description. It's like going downhill through deep snow on a sled, he said finally. At first, it's exhilarating, the speed, the sharp, clear air. But then the snow accumulates, builds up on the runners, and you slow, and you have to push hard to keep going, and... He shook his head suddenly and peered at Jonas. That meant nothing to you, did it? He asked. Jonas was confused. I didn't understand it, sir. Of course you didn't. You don't know what snow is, do you? Jonas shook his head. Or sled. Runners? No, sir, Jonas said. Downhill, the term means nothing to you. Nothing, sir. Well, it's a place to start. I've been wondering how to begin. Move to the bed and lay face down. Remove your tunic first. Jonas did so, a little apprehensively. Beneath his bare chest, he felt the soft folds of the magnificent cloth that covered the bed. He watched as the man rose and moved toward the wall where the speaker was. It was the same sort of speaker that occupied a place in every dwelling. But one thing about it was different. This one had a switch, which the man deftly snapped to the end that said, off. Jonas gasped aloud. To have the power to turn the speaker off, it was an astonishing thing. Then the man moved with surprising quickness to the corner where the bed was. He sat on a chair beside Jonas, who was motionless, waiting for what would happen next. Close your eyes, relax. This will not be painful. Okay, so going back to our lesson, we want to think about, based on this scene, do the memories bring the giver more joy or pain? Okay, so below, I have 4 pieces of evidence from this part of the text. So go ahead, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to read each piece of evidence, and you are going to highlight in blue the 2 pieces of evidence that best answer the question. in order to highlight, you're going to click right here, this highlight tool, and you can pick any shade of blue that you like, and you're just going to highlight your answer. So we're choosing, based on that scene, is the giver getting more joy or pain from the memories? So go ahead, you're going to choose your best pieces of evidence, and then answer in your assertion below. Are the memories causing the giver more pain or joy in this scene?